Well, hello again. This is Leeland Artra, your author at large. I often get asked, I was reading this book and I just realized it's the same name as yours. Are you the author? Did I just discover your secret identity? And I was like, yep, you did. I am at night the superhero writer that wrote that book. I get asked regularly, am I that author or am I this author? In fact, a couple weeks ago, one of my colleagues at work came for a visit from, because he works in a different part of the country. And when he came into the office, he asked me, I was reading this book on the airplane, and it was written by a Leeland Artra, and the author bio says he lives in the Seattle area. Was that you? Did I just discover your secret identity? And the first question I asked was, did you like the book? Because I don't want to take credit for it if he didn't like the book. But he said yes, so then I went on, why yes indeed, I am that author. And that led to the next question, which was invariable. I mean, it's like once they find out I'm an author, the second question that comes my way is, wow, what's it like to have a novel published? And I used to answer that question in great and glorious detail, except people's eyes would glass over, they wouldn't continue. Now I just answer that question with something very similar to, it's pretty cool. It gives me enough money to buy a hot, tasty beverage about every 2 months. To which we both laugh. And that's usually the end of the conversation, because that's really all people are interested in knowing. It's like, you're an author? Wow. Okay, so you're not a successful author. Then they're happy. However, that in reality, people don't want to know what's deeply involved. So if you're still listening at this point, thank you. Some people continue to pursue that line of questioning, and they then go a little deeper, and they go, well, that's funny, but really, how hard was it to get your story published? At which point I tell them, well, it was really, really hard. It took me about a year of, like late nights, ignoring my family and writing and dealing with a lot of things I was totally unprepared for to get the first book out. And getting the second book out was roughly the same, except that I kind of knew what to expect. So I was able to spread that out over more time and thus not get a divorce. And that's generally where I stop, again, because people aren't all that interested in the gory details. And it's only when they dig further that I actually know, okay, they really want to have a serious conversation about this. And that's when I step into my, well, writing is like being a marathon runner. It goes from being very, very bright to being very, very dark, very, very fast. The light. And I've been working on the next Endless Horizons book. Managed to get about 3,000 new words written for it. I also re-edited the first couple chapters of it because wasn't sure where I was at, because it's been a little while since I looked at it. But I'm very happy with the way it sounds. I actually had my computer read it to me, which was wonderfully fun. The Murder on the Empress's Train story is going to be a little bit larger than I expected. That's mostly because there's two major plot elements that, because of the restructuring of Endless Horizons, it's made the story far more interesting, a little bit better. But in order to get from the Nasitas scene through Ventali and over to the next major plot scene point with the flight book, I need to work in a few extra things. So I think there's going to be a bit of a bonus. The next one is going to be probably almost twice as large as far as content goes. I've come up with a number of really excellent ways to resolve this finally. That was really tickling my gourd, because I was just like, I can't do it this way, I can't do it that way. I mean, if I have her use magic, she'll be immediately called out as a heretic and burned. If I have some of the other elements do, expose themselves so early, that will kind of like completely destroy one of the major plot items that's currently sprinkled throughout, that was actually part of the reason we did the restructuring in the first place. So that would kind of kill that. I needed Jana Lee to really, kick some butt. Well, to overcome her enemies. Once she's overcome her enemies, the only thing left to do is move on to the next book, which I'm thankfully finally going to be getting to. I'm going to leave you with the thought of, you know you're a writer when the voices in your head start talking as if you are not there. Does that mean that we're schizophrenic? I hope not. At any rate, the voices in my head are having all kinds of fun these days. I look forward to talking to you next week, and really appreciate you taking the time to share some of your day with me. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. Bye-bye.